All right, guys, we've been checking in on the aftermath of Hurricane Ida in different areas. Right now, we want to check in with St. Charles Parish. Parish President Matthew Jewell is joining us by phone now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I understand that yesterday you toured the parish by helicopter. Tell us what you saw.
Well, look, getting a good perspective of the parish from air was beneficial to us at the Emergency Operations Center, just because we had really no communications up until yesterday evening when we started getting a little bit of cell phone service back, and it's been spotty since. So having that tour of the parish showed us really just the extent of the damage, and I'm confident in saying that nearly every structure in St. Charles Parish has received some sort of damage, as minor as a couple of shingles to as major as a complete collapse of home or entire roofs that were lifted off. There is still standing water in the Norco community, as well as in the Muntz community on Evangeline Road. Those pumping systems are working. We're working on getting water restored and getting more pumps online to be able to pump that water out more quickly. But our main priority today is getting that water restored to our East Bank customers and getting water out of our communities that just received a tremendous amount of rain during this storm.
Yeah, you mentioned nearly every structure in the parish with some kind of damage. You mentioned some collapsed homes. How many homes took on water? Do you have a sense of that?
Since we don't have communications, we don't have solid landline communication right now in our EOC. So it is hard to know exactly how many people took on water. But we are expecting dozens of homes in the Norco area that potentially took on water.
Wow. And then the power outage, that's a huge issue across the entire state. How are you guys looking in that area?
Entergy was able to complete their assessment yesterday. I know they have contractors coming in. I've told my residents to expect to be out of power for several weeks. I mean, if someone told me they could get the power back on in 1 month, I would say, man, that's a miracle. So, we're expecting it to be a long haul when it comes to getting power restored.
Wow. I'm sure that's tough for residents in your area to hear. I know you had a mandatory evacuation in effect. Did most people leave? Because I'm sure now they're eager to get back in and see the damage, but I'm sure you don't want them rushing back in because there is still water and other debris in the parish.
Look, I'm not entirely sure how many people left. 50-50 is my best guess, but I would probably say a little more than 50% stayed. For our residents who are coming back home, they're certainly welcome to come back home, but we are asking residents to just stay off the roads. We need our residents to really just start focusing on their property and focus on getting that cleaned up. But like I said, parish, first responders, fire department, public works, wastewater, waterworks, we're all responding right now to various areas of the parish, and we can't have people on the roads, impeding that process as we try to get things back to normal. Like I said, we're trying to get water out of the Norco area. That's right now our top priority, and reestablishing water for our East Bank residents. We experienced a catastrophic failure of our intake structure when a barge smashed into it on the East Bank. On the West Bank, we were able to start fighting some of those leaks and start establishing water pressure back to our residents. But as we turn on water on the East Bank, we're going to have to start fighting those leaks as well and trying to get that water out.
And so just to be clear, East Bank residents and West Bank residents are both still under that boil water advisory?
Yes, it's a boil order at this point. We're telling people, boil your water if you plan on consuming it for at least 1 minute. So
Gotcha.
that's going to be parish-wide until further notice.
And we've been following rescue efforts in several other parishes. Did you guys have to do any rescues? Did you get any emergency calls for folks who needed help yesterday?
Yeah, look, we did have, our first responders have been responding to calls across the parish, and we did receive calls during the storm when conditions got really bad and roofs were starting to collapse. At one point, we lost all those communications, so it was hard to get in touch with people. But as soon as that storm passed, we started getting out there and cutting our way in to get to people who called and asked for help.
And was anyone seriously injured? Did you have folks who needed to go to the hospital?
We had folks who did go to the hospitals for medical emergencies, but otherwise no fatalities that we know of at this time, and no serious injuries directly related to damage from the storm.
And just how are you feeling at this point? Of course, you went through the storm like the rest of us in this state. I do sense a little bit of exhaustion in your voice and probably overwhelmed. It sounds like you're dealing with a lot of major issues for your residents to just get back to some sense of a normal life.
I mean, the word I would describe how I'm feeling right now is just heartbroken. To be able to see all the damage across the parish, and to see, just communities that have received flooding, and we're still working at kind of battling this storm. We had storm surge that pushed into Bayou des Allemands, and we were able to hold that water back as it came in. Now we know that all of that water that came in, plus all of the rainwater that us and 5 other parishes have received, is going to try to come back out. So we're going to be watching this for the rest of this week, and probably into next week, try to make sure that that the effects of that storm water coming in don't attempt to inundate us on the back end. And so again, it's a heartbreaking situation down here. I want our residents to know we've requested all available assets and resources from the state to get distribution set up, to get as much resources from the state and the federal government as possible. We're asking residents to be patient as that gets mobilized and brought into the parish, and to just stick to looking at our channel. Most people won't have electricity to watch the channel, but our website and our Facebook page for official information.
All right, Matthew, thank you so much for joining us with those updates. We do have to go, and just a reminder, a curfew in effect here, guys, from 8 to 5 at St. Charles Parish. Thank you, Matthew Jewell. We wish you the best.